Who's ready for the very first ever SHTF Saturday? This is Prepper Nation. Folks, what is going on? How you doing, nation? This is best-selling author John M. Davis. And while I'm on that subject, several of you have asked me this week what I've written in the past, how I'm best-selling, whatever the case may be. So I brought a book along, folks, just to show you real quick. In the past decade, I've written science fiction and fantasy. This is Wicked. This is one of the 34 stories that I've written and published. It's a zombie horror survival / comedy novel. I'll leave the link down below. It's also available in ebook format. Anyway, welcome to the very first SHTF Saturday. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm not doing this Saturday evening, and that is because I'm friends with a lot of prepping podcasts, if you will, here on YouTube. A lot of successful podcasts, and a couple of them do their live stream Saturday evening. So I didn't want to cut in on their time. They were here first, basically. So I'm taking the back seat, and I'm going to do mine in the morning. The real winner is you folks, because you get prepping pretty much all day long now on Saturday, right? And a few of you have asked who I watch. What preppers am I into? Just off the top of my head here, and you folks can check these great podcasts out here on YouTube. The Angry Prepper, The Prepared Mind, MD Creekmore is a really good one. Alaska Prepper. Wow. Let me see here. Canadian Prepper. Bear Independent is awesome as well. And I mean, there are several more. Prepper Princess that are worth checking out, but that's just a handful that I watch on a regular basis. And they're all fantastic. Also, Ice Age Farmer. Check that out. So anyway, thank you for being here on this Saturday morning. Please like and subscribe the video to the channel, rather, if you haven't already. I need new subscribers. Once I hit the 10,000 mark in terms of subscribers here, I can begin to live stream and talk to you guys in real time and answer questions in real time. That said, this is a reminder that while this video that you guys are watching right here, this beautiful video on the laptop, which we're going to run about an hour or so tonight, it's pre-recorded. I'm recording this Friday night, very late, I might add. It's around midnight. I will be in the live chat tomorrow morning about 10 o'clock. So if you folks need something answered in real time, be sure that you hit Super Chat, which is going to, you just donate whatever you can during the live chat. And what that's going to do is that's going to banner your question with a colored banner, and it's going to bump it all the way to the top of the live chat. And then I'll be able to see it, and I'll answer you in real time. All right, so anyway, here we go. Let's talk about Doomsday Seeds. And I have a funny story to tell you folks about Doomsday Seeds. I had to switch up this entire podcast. I was going into a different direction. The folks over on Patreon already know this. They actually know what this podcast is going to be about in the next two podcasts. They get inside information for $1 a month. To the new patrons out there, I got your names down here. Lyndon, Another Prepper, and Melanie, thank you for signing up on Patreon. The link's down below if anybody's interested. Okay, funny story here. So I'm going to Walmart yesterday, and I'm thinking I'm going to film a live stream at Walmart because I'd gotten a question about some prepping gear, and we'll get into that next week from Walmart. if it was any good, could it be done? And I'm like, I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to show this individual, I'm going to do an entire video on what to get and what's garbage, at your local Walmart. And so they were out of a bunch of stuff. I really couldn't do it. I mean, I think they had a few packs of the Mountain House lasagna left, which is freeze-dried food, for those of you who don't know. They had a Sawyer Mini, a couple of Life Straw, the sports bottles, maybe a folding saw, and they were pretty much wiped out of everything else. So I'm like, well, this is a bust. While I'm here, let me go ahead and grab some seeds. I have some seeds here at the Ponderosa already. We store them, in a bag, and then they're also in an ammo can, which is part of the story. And so, they're 20 cents a pop, right, at your local Walmart. I said, let me go ahead and pick up some squash, some cucumber, some tomato, whatever. They got boatloads at Walmart every time I'm there. They're wiped out. They had the flowers, seeds, to plant beautiful flowers, which is my wife's thing, not mine so much. And so they had tons of those, but all of the food seeds were gone. And this is honest to God, folks. This is the first time that I've ever been in August here in my Walmart, which is fairly big Walmart, and they have tons of outdoor stuff. There are a lot of outdoor people here because we're out in the middle of nowhere, basically. So people take this kind of stuff serious. It's the first time in history that I can remember them running out of food seeds. And I'm like, well, this is weird. Maybe they just haven't got their truck in yet or what. So the fallback for me was, let me hit the dollar stores, right? Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. No, they're all gone. And at this point, it registers. Okay, there's several preppers in my area. And I'm like, yeah, they beat me here. That's what's going on. I already knew somebody had come in, maybe one or two people, and they had cleaned them out. So I'm like, oh, this is not good. I've got seeds again at the Ponderosa, but do I have enough? The prepper in me is like, in my head while I'm driving down the road, do I have enough in case there is a massive food shortage? Of course we have stockpiles of food, but what happens when that runs out? Like, you want to have stuff in the ground, and the experienced preppers out there already know this. You want to have stuff in the ground, that way when you run out of the stockpile, it's time to harvest fresh produce. And I'm racking my brain, and I'm like, we have a Tractor Supply in town, and it's not a very popular stop. And I'm not sure why that is. Actually, we have a Rural King, but it's kind of a ways off. We have a Tractor Supply, so I'm like, I'll swing in there. Surely they're going to have some seeds. I mean, it's a farming store. You know what I'm saying? So we go in there, and it's a good news, bad news situation. The good news, folks, check this out. Got this sweet, I don't know if you guys can, to appreciate the size of this ammo can, right? Got this incredible deal on that ammo can, which I believe, just eyeballing it without checking the sticker on the bottom, I believe that's a 40 millimeter ammo can. If it's not, correct me in the comments. But $30, which is, I don't know, $15 off, I think. So jumped all over that deal. That's the good news. $30 for a slamming ammo can, brand new, a quality ammo can. This one's not made in China. And if you're in China, I apologize, but I mean, I've had some Chinese-made ammo cans. They're not as good. The bad news is my farming store, my Tractor Supply, had 5 packs of seeds left. 2 packs of heirloom, which are yellow pear tomato and red bell pepper. 3 cucumber. Now, 5 packs of seeds is 5 packs of seeds. The problem here is that those 5 packs of seeds cost me more than the huge ammo can that I just held up and showed off. These packs of seeds were almost, I think they were around $6 a pop, 5 and change for each pack. Normally, there is no way that I would have paid that, folks, but these are the last 5. So what that tells me is not only is there an imminent food shortage coming, but if you don't have seeds and you can't find seeds, you're in trouble. So, you know, if you guys are catching this at 10 something tomorrow morning, and we're in live chat, so folks, I may chat something at this point in time during the video, but listen, it's serious business. You need to understand how to garden, because you don't just throw seeds in the ground and then come back in 6 or 8 weeks and they're there. You guys need, if you don't already know how to do it, you're going to need a crash course on growing food, and you're going to need to go on basically a manhunt for seeds at this point. At least in my area, if you're finding seeds in your area, it's only a matter of time, especially if they're 20 cents at Walmart. You better scoop them up while you can. Okay. So, yeah. So I just wanted to tell you folks about that the Doomsday seeds, man, I've never, ever seen seeds this bad off. And so when I got home, you know, still a little raw, a little chapped on the backside over the price of the seeds, you know what I'm saying? I got online, I'm like, what is going on? I can understand seeds being sold out because, again, preppers just jumped on them before I did in this area. But I didn't understand the price going up that drastically in a short amount of time. I just saw seeds 2 weeks ago at Walmart for 20 cents. And I get online and I find out that there is a massive seed shortage. Apparently, the companies that put the seeds out, they are working from home because of the COVID, so therefore they're not able to get into the factory and package them up. The seeds are there, they're just not being sent out to stores. Stores cannot order them, which is ridiculous. Something to think about. Coffee is incredible. Thank you, Arthur, by the way, for the donation on PayPal. You, my friend, have bought my coffee tonight. If you would like to buy my coffee for the next podcast, folks, just donate via PayPal. Yeah, PayPal. Words are hard. It takes about 30 seconds. Links down below. But let's get back to it, okay? A lot of preppers here at the end of August are now talking about a civil war. Several of the mainstream prepping podcasts are now saying that a civil war is a good possibility. Yeah, it is, because I said it was a month and a half ago. It's only gotten worse. When I said this a month and a half ago, a lot of people were calling me a lunatic, or a lot of people were saying that I was putting out, broadcasting fear and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to prepare people, because there's no way at this point things end well for the United States, at least not short term being, 2030. From now to 2030, we're going to see really, really bad times. Just to comment a little bit on, because I had a few people asked questions in the past, I think it was 48 hours, about I don't even remember his name, to be honest with you folks, the kid in Wisconsin that had the assault rifle. I saw a video of that and got a lot of hate on Twitter because I said, that the guy's defending himself. And of course, the mob comes after me on Twitter. That's what they usually do. And they said he had no right being there with an assault rifle. And here's the deal, okay? And I actually disagree with some of the preppers out there. As I said earlier in the podcast, I'm a huge fan of the Angry Prepper. You folks should check him out. This is a guy I could sit in the room with, and you know what I'm saying? We could have a few drinks, and we could talk and get along very well. I have mad respect for the man. And I think his take on it was right. However, I disagree with one thing. He said the kid should have never put himself in the position of, being in harm's way, or he put himself in a bad position. My take on it is this. If anything, this kid, this 17-year-old, if he's guilty of anything, and I'm not sure what the laws are in Wisconsin. If you're there, maybe you know. I don't. I don't know how old you have to be to carry an assault rifle, open carry. I would assume and I'm on the other side of the country, but I would assume that you would at least have to be 18, if not 21. So if anything, in my opinion, this kid was guilty of having an assault rifle when he should not have had a firearm. I also think the parents to drop a 17-year-old off with an assault rifle makes no sense to me. But I'm not there. I'm not the parent. That being said, and this is where I disagree with my buddy over at the Angry Prepper, this guy had every right to be there. He is an American, and he has the right to move freely throughout the country. Just because a couple of thousand communist idiots want to protest and they want to spew, vile stuff out, and they want to harass police. See, this is the thing, and then I'll get off this subject. This is what the mob out there, the people rioting, want. They want us, patriots and conservatives, to stay at home. They want us to go the other way. This is how this is how communism works, and fascism. For those of you who don't know, if you've never read in on fascism and World War II, this is how the Nazis started out. They would send out groups of people to harass, curse, beat up people, intimidate people. And eventually it'll get to the point where they're trying to intimidate us not to vote. That's the ultimate goal here. They want to create a society here in the United States where when it comes election time, you're scared to go out and vote. And I'm telling you, you folks can vote in two different ways. Number one, you need to be at the polls. No matter how you intend to vote, I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but you need to go to the polls and vote. This election, not only is it the most, you always hear this, it's a stereotype, right? The most important election in the history of our country. The history of our country may end in the next 10 years if this vote goes the opposite way that it should. So pray a lot, folks. Pray. And if you can't decide on a candidate, some people can't, decide on a platform. If you decide on a platform, see, I'm not a pro-choice guy. I hope that doesn't upset anybody, any of the subscribers out there, but I'm pro-life. And I vote that platform every single time. It doesn't matter who runs on the Republican ticket. This isn't about, hey, I need an old white guy to run, right? This can be an Asian female running for president. And if she is pro-life, she's probably getting my vote. I vote platform most of the time. And I look at the two candidates, and this is, again, my opinion. Trump's platform is not perfect, but Joe Biden's platform is non-existent. There is not a platform on the left. And I think the left, the Democrats, the Democratic Party, not all Democrats are bad. Not all Democrats out there are people in the streets yelling and throwing, fireworks and stuff at the police. That's the extreme left. But it's non-existent, the platform. And I think the Democratic Party has figured this out. They have figured out that, we're probably not going to win in November, so they are going to do everything in their power to keep you folks away from the polls. So get out and vote. The second way that you vote is with your wallet or your pocketbook. Period. One of the perks of the GOP or the grand old party being stereotyped as older is that we have a majority of the money when it comes to the average taxpayer. These people that are out here with the BLM masks on, throwing paint at police officers and looting Target and burning down Walgreens every single night tells me that they're probably not working a day job for the most part. So they're probably not paying a lot of taxes anyway. I'm not sure how they get so much say-so in the way our government works. But this is leading us, and I've been saying food shortage. You folks that have been here, I've been beating that drum, as hard as I can beat it. And I'm still getting feedback on Twitter and even YouTube. I've gotten some comments saying there's no food shortage coming. Preppers have caused a food shortage themselves by hoarding food. Here's the deal. When you're a prepper and something happens, you don't rush out and hoard food because you're already prepared. You buy it up slowly over the course of years, months, or years, especially with the emergency food and stuff like that. You're already good to go. The people that are filling their buggies up during the first, the food shortage and toilet paper shortage, those folks were in panic mode because they are the same folks that laughed at preppers up until, oh my God, there's nothing on the shelves. And so, no, we didn't cause it, first of all. Second of all, even if there's not a food shortage because of the COVID, which again, I think there will be. I think we're going to see a second series of lockdowns. I've been saying in September, it could be early October, because I believe that we're being locked down on purpose to crash the economy on purpose. It's just my opinion. I think that this is another election day tactic. Crash the economy. Nevertheless, even if you don't buy into that particular theory, how can you possibly dispute that the powers that be are setting up for a global economic reset? Now, what do I mean by that, folks? We are the currency, right? We are the standard currency for the globe, for the entire world, the U.S. economy. And in order for elites, I should say, and globalists to pull off an economic reset and go from a world of paper currency and coin to a world of all digital currency, one thing needs to happen, and that is your standard currency, which is the United States, needs to crumble, right? The reserve currency needs to bottom out, and we're starting to see that now. China has surpassed, for those of you who don't know, China has recently surpassed the United States in GDP, which means it is only a matter of time before China steps up and becomes the new reserve currency, not the United States. We are falling behind, and it's sad to see. primarily because China and the UN, these are the two biggest threats to our way of life. It is not out of the realm of possibility, excuse me, words are hard again, to think that China is orchestrating the protests that we are seeing. Again, just a theory, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. They are basically in a cold war with the United States. We are definitely in a trade war with China, and China stands to gain the most by civil unrest and division here in the United States. Now, even if you don't buy into that particular theory, you must be able to wrap your head around the fact that food prices are going up. Somebody who is legally blind can walk into the grocery store right now and they can tell you food has went up astronomically on many items. The rest are coming. So, at the very least, I'm asking you folks to prepare your food catches and your stashes at home. Prep the food. If there's not a national shortage, you're going to see, with inflation that we know is coming, right? Because the economy, again, is being crashed. We're going to see the price of everything go up, especially food. If you stockpile it now, you're going to spend less money for the same amount of food. So this only makes sense. You do not have to think completely like a prepper. You can think like the average American who doesn't want to pay a lot for groceries. Get it before the price triples. You understand what I'm saying? That's basic. We're already seeing shortages. I mean, we went through this once earlier this year, and the supply line still has not caught up. If we get locked down again with an already weakened supply line, it's going to be catastrophic for things that you can find at grocery stores. Grocery stores at that point may even close. You may have one or two options max in your area. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whether you think there are going to be shortages or not, whether you disagree with pretty much every prepper out there at this point, there are going to be rises in food prices. That's a guarantee. Anybody will tell you that. Stockpile the food. And last, another very good reason to stockpile your food and resources is because of all of the stuff that is going on in these cities, whether it's Wisconsin, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, take your pick. It's going to spread. And you may eventually, especially if you're in the suburbs of a bigger city or in a city, you may find yourself in a situation where it's no longer safe to leave your house or your apartment. And so it benefits you to have everything you need and not have a need to go outside and put yourself in harm's way, right? Get your food. Get it in order. Get your water. Get you a purification system. Develop some sort of a catchment system for water if you need to. There are tons of YouTube videos on how to do that. At some point, I will do one. Somebody asked me today, actually, on one of the shorter videos I posted, I think from the bug out location, about hardtack, also known as ship's biscuits. I will do a video at some point, and I will actually bake some hardtack and show you folks how to do it. But a simple Google search will show you how to do it. There are 2 or 3 ingredients, one of which is water. I think it's water, iodized salt, and flour. And it's like the poor man's MRE. But anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked. Just stock the food, guys. You don't want to be that individual that, especially if you have kids, you don't want to go down that road. and watch your kids starve right in front of you. It's not worth it. Spend a few extra bucks now and, just take a chance and go ahead and splurge a little bit and get some extra food. Go heavy on rice and beans and things like that. You will thank me later. All right, so I want to show you guys something. I don't want to drop this. Check this out, folks. Personalized on the back. Pretty cool, right? I'm going to explain that to you. Got that today as an early gift from the family for my birthday. Got a birthday in a couple of days. Yeah, I'm getting older. Getting older indeed. You folks don't have to send me anything for my birthday. I would prefer, and I'll leave a link down below, that you guys visit Barry Independent. I will link you. Man, these words at 12:30 in the morning. To Barry Independent's charity. They do great charity work where they help victims of human trafficking recover from the ordeal, and it's the most worthy cause I can think of right now. I would donate tons of money to this man's charity if I could afford to, but unfortunately I'm a dude with about $70,000 in student loans, and that hurts to say. That stabs me, folks, but it is what it is. I have too many student loans, too many bills, but the least I can do is drop a link there, because these people need help, and he's trying to do it, and it's not that expensive. So I will put that link down there as well. Speaking of things going down, the NBA, you folks seen this? The NBA ratings are down 40%. I think that was on TNT, but across the other channels that they come on, they're down 20-something. And of course, the headlines on mainstream media said the NBA ratings were mysteriously down 40%. Well, the mystery solved. You know what I mean? They're projecting. I forget what it's called, guys. Tell me in the live chat. But they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They. I don't understand how NBA teams, sports teams, but right now the NBA, I don't understand how NBA teams can run like a business and be this stupid. Their income, they basically get income from what? 3 sources, right? They sell tickets, they sell concessions, and they sell merchandise, right? And then their fourth is going to be revenue, I guess, from advertisers. So they can't sell tickets in 2020 because of, the COVID. They're playing in an empty arena. I just saw this. I don't watch the NBA anymore. It's been a minute. But they play in the bubble now, apparently. Fancy name for an empty stadium. And of course the court has Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Jesus. All over the court. Let's hope I'm more awake in the morning, right? And so they're not selling concessions because they're not selling tickets. Their merchandise is down. They're not selling merchandise, and now their ratings are down 40%, which means advertisers are going to start wanting some of that money back. They're going to say, I know that, we promised you, whatever it is, $10 million to advertise on this time slot, but you promised us X amount of people watching the games, and they're 40% less watching the games now, so we want 40% of that advertising revenue back, right? And legally they have the right to take it back. So the NBA is hurting bad, And they did it to themselves. I don't feel sorry for them. Look, man, if you're a business and you put Black Lives Matter, which is at this point being steered by Antifa, which is a communist organization. That's a fact. And you are basically in bed with the Chinese government, the NBA. Are you really shocked that the average American who's proud to be an American is not watching your product anymore? This is the other way that you vote, folks. I saw this. I know you folks have seen it. This video in Minnesota. No, I'm sorry, not Minnesota, Wisconsin, where maybe it was Minnesota, where they went into the Target and they were looting everything and tearing the Target up, right? And big shocking headline. I can't believe they're doing this, that mostly peaceful. And this is meant to upset you, but here's the thing that mainstream media doesn't seem to understand. The average American who is not living in that city doesn't care. Sorry to tell you, we don't care. If you want to loot a Target in your own city, go ahead. A lot of conservatives are still boycotting Target. Remember that? And then on top of this, the thing is, the people that live in these cities, these helpless victims, have brought a lot of this on themselves. Because for the past 20, 30, 40 years, they have voted liberal. Go look it up. You want to know what the problem is in Chicago right now? Go find out when the last time is they had a Republican mayor. You want to know what the problem is in Portland? Go take a look at the record of mayors. Find the last conservative. Find the last mayor in Portland that was holding a Bible up and telling folks, this is how you need to live. You're going to be digging around for a while before you find one. You bring it on yourselves. You create by voting in liberalism, all right? And I'm not trying to get super religious here on the podcast because I don't push it on people. I'm a born-again Christian, and I'm proud of that. I don't hide from it, but I don't push it on anybody else. But the thing is, the United States was built on the core values of the Bible. That's a fact. And when you take the core values, right, when you take the morality of the Bible out of the civilization or out of the cities, you're going to reap the whirlwind of a godless society. And that's what we're seeing right now in these cities, folks, is these folks have no morals. They have no respect for life. They have no respect for property. Nothing. That's exactly what is going on. And the mayors are telling the police to stand down. And the police are doing it. The police should supersede what the mayor's saying here, because the public's in danger, and the police should step up and do their job. And in some cities they are, and some cities they're just hanging back and watching things get burned and watching people get beat up. And so no, I don't care if you folks are burning your own cities down, right? I don't care if you're burning your own grocery stores down. Does it suck? Yeah. But I'm a half a country away. It doesn't affect my life at all. I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to make a cup of coffee. I'm going to sit out on my porch. Might walk out into the yard and feed the birds and the squirrels, whatever the case may be. Walk the dog. Tomorrow night I may grill steaks out. That's how the rest of America is living. And you folks in these liberal cities, you would be living this way if you would just take a stand. Get the liberals out of here. Just try it. You know, if your city's a wreck, Chicago, how many times has Chicago elected a liberal who was going to come in and clean the city up? And then they watched the liberal mayor leave, and the city's worse off than it was when they came. At some point, a switch has got to click, right? And you've got to understand, well, maybe I should start doing it a little differently. You know? I mean, to use this analogy, and it's a very simple analogy, if you stick your hand in a car door and you slam the car door on your hand, how many times do you have to do that before you say, well, maybe I'm not going to stick my hand in the car door anymore? Try voting conservative for a change. Watch the police get funded and get rid of the riffraff and start locking these people up and not slapping them on the wrist and releasing them, you know, because you want to project that you care for political gain. It's ridiculous. But even though the riots are a problem, getting back to the bigger picture, the truth about what's going on is this, the elites, and I'm talking about the 1% of the 1% worldwide, who continue to masturbate this idea of globalism and Marxism. It does not work. It doesn't work. And, you know, I mean, China is trying to hurt us in every way possible. They really are. And most of you out there know that. You know, China would burn this country to the ground tomorrow if they could. But they can't militarily. They don't want that smoke. Right? They have a lot more guys with guns than we do. But they still don't want that smoke. We have the number one military in the world, and then we have tens of millions of what I would call the greatest reserve army in history, and that would be all of the veterans out there who have trained and been a part of the strongest military in the world. So China does not want this smoke. What they are doing instead, and hang with me on this, okay? What they're doing instead is they are crashing our economy. We have, I believe, and again, this is a theory, but I believe it strongly, I think we have a handful of congressmen, senators who are compromised and who care more about the Chinese agenda than they do the American agenda. And therefore, they vote for the Chinese agenda, which is to crash the United States economy. And as the United States economy crashes, China comes in through, shell corporations, basically, and they buy up the United States piecemeal. A lot of the United States is now owned by Chinese. I don't know if you folks knew that or not. A lot of our industries here in the United States, a lot of our farmlands now, they're buying up tons of farms, which is why I am prone to believe that food is the weapon of choice for the coming war. And it's all about globalism. And at some point, folks, I do think the United Nations is here. Question is, what are you going to do about it? Trump wins. It's going to set him back at least a decade. But they're still going to come at some point. Right? It is what it is. So we didn't, what are we sitting at? 45 minutes. All right. Go ahead and cut it there. Please like and subscribe. The channel, you know, just subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and it truly helps out. Again, if you want to buy a coffee, I will give you a shout out on next week's podcast / live chat. You can do that via PayPal. It takes 30 seconds. Anything helps. I mean, coffee's not that expensive, right? You can join the crazy crew over at Patreon for $1 a month. The options over there are very cheap, and it unlocks exclusive content here from the Ponderosa. And finally, again, if you're interested whatsoever in zombie survival, again, this is fiction. This is actually based in North Carolina, and there's a lot of comedy in here. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. I'll drop the link. It is also available anywhere books are sold. And as always, God bless.